welcome to the show. I'm Samantha B, as in Samantha B shopping, am I right? Of course, this time of year, everybody be shopping, and more importantly, everybody be returning, especially when we buy online.
If Santa didn't quite stick to the list this year, you're not alone. Americans return nearly $90 billion worth of holiday gifts.
In stores, only around 1 in 10 purchases is brought back. But online, that number can jump to 40%.
With online shopping, the rate of returns increases.
The most return items are expected to be women's clothing, appliances, and toys.
And sometimes all three in one, like these new strap-on vibrator low-rise jeans by Dress Barn. Online shopping surged during the pandemic, and with holiday sales on track to break records this year, it isn't slowing down. But what you may not realize while you're sipping nog, adding crap to your online cart that even drunk you knows you're going to send back, is that unlike that cursed elf boy who returns to haunt me each year, your online returns don't always return to the shelves.
In reality, many of these products never return anywhere. Instead, they may end up here. Or even here.
Americans return more than $400 billion worth of products each year, and more than 2 million tons of those items are thrown away, enough to fill over 200,000 garbage trucks. That's a number so big it's hard for me to even visualize, mostly because in Canada, we were taught to measure by Olympic-sized swimming pool. More than $100 billion of returned merchandise was from online purchases alone. And while it goes against everything in my being to complain about free returns on the thousands of jeans I've tried on that did not fit, those free returns we all love actually come at a huge cost to the environment. It all started with the gift and the curse that is the Zappos return policy.
Need shoes for your holiday party? You might want to try on Zappos.com. That offers free returns and free shipping.
Zappos.com is famous for its return policy. Return unworn shoes up to a year after purchase, and they'll give you free return shipping labels as well, so it costs you nothing.
Yes, much like in a Quentin Tarantino film, this story's surprise main character turns out to be feet. Back in the early 2000s, Americans were desperate to cover their filthy hooves without actually going to a store and interacting with another human being, but wary of buying shoes without trying them on first. So Zappos removed the risk by offering free return shipping. Everyone loved it. Other retailers followed suit, and now customers expect it.
79% of consumers want free return shipping, which is now offered by almost half of retailers.
What do you like most about Amazon?
I love the fact that their return is so seamless.
Retailers offering free shipping both ways are somewhat training shoppers to overorder and return what doesn't work at the expense of the retailer.
Amazon has conditioned us, almost like Pavlov's dogs, to return things and feel comfortable returning things.
As more companies compete by offering free shipping returns and generous online discounts to get you to buy even more, Americans do what we do best: overdo it.
There's so much of that stuff coming back from either e-commerce or stores that you could take all of the units that we process in 1 year and build a bridge from New York to Tokyo.
There's a huge spike in TV sales the week before the Super Bowl, and there's a huge spike in TV returns the week after the Super Bowl.
79% of Americans shop online. This happens when they're laying in bed, when they're out having a drink. Turns out actually 1 in 5 of us shops online while we're using the bathroom.
And what Vox doesn't want you to know is that the other 4 shop while they watch you go to the bathroom. Clothing and shoes are the biggest online return categories, with as much as 30 to 40% sent back. That's because many shoppers are bracketing, buying their usual size plus a size above or below to try on just in case. Look, I get it. Women's clothing sizing is a cluster, and you gotta do what you gotta do. But if you can avoid buying to just return, you should, because most returned products don't go back on sale. Instead, they wind up in retail purgatory.
The reality is, it often ends up in a place of limbo, a place that some retailers call the wall of shame.
Welcome to the land of buyer's remorse. Towers of toys, mountains of merchandise. This Texas warehouse is the size of 2 football fields.
Ironically, 2 football fields were also returned. When these returns are processed, some get sold in bulk at a fraction of their original cost to liquidators who open full-on rummage sale stores where you can sift through bins of random products at dirt cheap prices. Your returns could also wind up at discount retailers or secondary markets overseas where they may or may not actually be resold. But for many big companies, it's cheaper to just throw them straight in the trash.
They did probably some kind of cost value analysis of that and found out, you know what, this is going to cost us more to try to sell it again than just to toss it in the trash.
We have spoken to over 120 retailers, and over half of them have said that they are disposing of over 25% of their customer returns.
Every year, 4 billion pounds of returned clothing ends up in the landfill. That's like every resident in the US did a load of laundry last night and decided to throw it in the trash today.
Honestly, with the way some of you dorks dress, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Nearly 5 billion pounds of retail returns will end up in landfills, and that has a staggering impact on the environment. Landfill waste from returns alone contributes 15 million metric tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, and all the extra transportation for returns is also a massive energy waster. It's almost as bad as all the energy Santa wastes every year, taking the long way around to avoid his ex-lovers and illegitimate children. The real miracle on 34th Street? Santa has never had to pay child support, no matter how many letters they pour on that judge's desk. But there are things we can do to make online shopping less wasteful and more environmentally friendly. The U.S. has no federal regulations on how unsold and returned products should be handled, but we could. Last year, France passed wide-ranging anti-waste legislation that outlawed the destruction of unsold or returned items, including electronics, clothing, and cosmetics. We should follow France's lead on that, and on taking extra long lunches to drink entire bottles of wine. Experts say retailers should also look for new solutions to resell, recycle, or donate their returns. They could also minimize their packaging and offer clearer descriptions of products online so customers know exactly what they're getting. Some companies, like IKEA, now even offer virtual reality to help customers envision their products in their homes. So now you can order that mom dresser with 100% confidence that it'll fit. There are also things we can all do to reduce waste from returns, especially this holiday season. For one, stop being such shitty gift givers. We waste billions of dollars each year on gifts people hate. Around the holidays, an estimated 2/3 of people who get presents return at least one of them, and according to one survey, the most unliked gifts are clothes. Unless you're the son of God, in which case the most unliked gift is myrrh. Seriously, wise men, what's baby Jesus gonna do with all that myrrh? Get the kid a stuffed animal or an action figure of himself, or even a t-shirt that says, "I survived a virgin birth and all I got was this t-shirt." And the fact that no one wants our terrible gifts is especially depressing when you consider that last year, about 1/3 of all consumers took on debt to pay for holiday expenses. The only holiday debt anyone should have to worry about is the emotional debt your family owes you for all those years of simply being themselves. So this holiday season, please consider buying less or just asking people what they actually want. You can also give gift cards or experiences to help your family and friends avoid unwanted stuff. And on December 26th, when you're trying to figure out what to do with all that crap with Dalmatians on it because you owned a Dalmatian 15 years ago, consider posting that dog shit on Buy Nothing and Free Cycle groups to find a better home for it. You know what they say? One woman's trash is another Dalmatian fetishist's treasure. Happy holidays, creep. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to hear more from Full Frontal, like and subscribe. If you'd like to hear some opinions from a man in a lifted truck, leave YouTube on autoplay.